Doing gang things, living super clean. That done came up. Can't control us. One time for the men doing cane things. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control us. One time for the men doing cane things. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control us. Look at you done came up now. Get it how you live, mess the game up now. Ain't messing with yoga, but get the flame up. Hey, used to be Toby, but got your name back now. I see ya, paid under pressure. 25 lighters got them all on the dresser. If it ain't for you, ain't for you then. If you a lame or a sucker, wanna dress you then. Grown up now, bump the childish ways. Got a wife and a bunch of kids to raise. Punch a clock side, hustle or a business you endure to ensure that all the bills is paid. Slow clap for your homeboy. Could've turned out like your homeboy. Been on the same block, cooking up the same rock on the cell block lot with your homeboy. But no, you had vision, you had gold. Brand new you on the old time road. Take care of home where you bust your low. Black men don't cheat, screaming bond the hoe. Real men talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom, boy, you PD grade. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. One time for the men doing cane things. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane things. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the folk that have moved up. Even if you had a slow start screwed up. Used to gang bang, now homie brewed up. Had a little plan, I had them blew up. Look at you like a man right now. Dressed to the T, smelling like a grand right now. And you ain't got nothing from a handout now. Just faith and hard work gets it planned out now. You could've took a bunch of dusty roads. The hand dealt with a bunch of cards to fold. To stay hot while the world is freezing cold. The same plot, but the story's never old. Slow clap for your kinfolk. Could've been asking what your info. Prosecutor could be trying to do you in for the 2020 twins, so you passing out the info. But no, you had purpose, you had plans. I ain't throwing nothing, I'ma say these bands won't impress y'all, don't need no fans. That ain't my God, who is that man? This real man talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom while you beat these grades. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. 1 time for the men doing cane things. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane things. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. Yeah, real man. Sheesh. Yeah. Doing gang things. Living super clean. That it came up.
1 time for my king doing king things. Mom these hoes cause he know he got a good thing. I submit and I cook and I clean and I never hold back on that wop, I'ma let it rain. Made me honest, I got a ring. All praises to the most high, let it sing. A real man able, sister never came. And I ain't going nowhere, this is not a game. Look at you, girl, you lonely right now. Settling for bums instead of men the most high. He provide and protect so he get our respect. And he leading us aboard when them chariots fly. I don't really think you hear me though. You can't cross this bridge on some billy goats. Let them save you in the end like a Seminole. Be help me, shout let the silly go.
1 time for the men doing cane things. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane things. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my foe that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up.
Shalom and shalom, sisters and cousins, and praise the Lord, saints. It's your favorite housewife, Miss Monica. What is up? What it is, what it ain't, what it's gonna be. Happy Thursday to you all. Thank y'all for joining me so much. I hope you had a pleasant day. It is still raining here in the South, and in fact, our power flickered off and on real quick, so I was worried that I wasn't going to be able to be here with y'all, but here I am. Thank you so much. Okay, let's go ahead and get this thing started. Please allow me to go ahead. Okay, please allow me to introduce myself. I am at Miss Mono's Brothers, content creator. She's Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all the places the content creators be. Follow me, like, subscribe, share, whatever the options are on that particular channel. If you are not on the YouTube, please head over to the YouTube at Monologue Magad, MONOLOGMAGAD. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live here at the House of Mono. What else? I'm trying to see. Okay, I don't think there's anything else we need to get out the way. All right, so just a few things. Well, just really kind of one big thing before we get to our main topic. Like, I'm excited about our main topic. Angelina, shalom and shalom, sis. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, you know, pink is the thing. Pink is the thing. All right, so, huh? Oh, okay. All right, so y'all know I'm a TV girl. Like, that is what I do. I watch TV. Shout out to my hubby for that. See, he loves me so much. I'm a TV girl, okay? I like to watch TV. That is officially on my list of hobbies. So I have been into this one show lately, and it's like a reality show. But what they do is, hold on, let me get the picture for you guys. Okay. What they do is they take people and their families, and they have them live like the frontier life for, I want to say it's 3 months. I think it's 3 months altogether that they have them doing this. Okay. So on the show, you have 3 different families. You have a Caucasian family, husband, wife, and they have like 4 or 5 kids. Then you have a Black family, husband, wife, 2 sons, and the husband's mom starts the show off with them. And then you have another Caucasian family, but this family is 2 husbands and then 2 little boys that they adopted. Okay. So, you know, they've been going back and forth, going back to like not having any modern conveniences. I mean, they have to grow their own food. They had to build their shelter. Like, they took them to like a log cabin that was in various states of disrepair. Like, one log cabin was missing the entire front. Some of them didn't have beds. They had to build their own beds. So there were different things. So they had to build their cabin, some of them had to build their furniture. They had to get food. Like, they're literally starting from scratch out here, right? And so today, well, for this week's episode, they had them sowing seed, right? Last week they went and plowed the land, but this week they were sowing the seed. And so they were talking about how traditionally the man goes out to the field to do the work and the woman stays home to take care of the house, right? And so the Black family, the husband got up, he took the son with him and was like, come on, we're going to go do these seeds. The white family with the husband and the wife, the husband got up and was like, come on, let's go do these seeds. He took his son with him. The daughter stayed home with the mom to cook and clean and all this other stuff. You get to the white family with the 2 husbands, and they have to sit down and have a conversation about who's going to do what and who's going to take what role. And, you know, how is this going to work best for our family? Who's better at this? Who's better at that? Right. And again, this is the stuff that, like, I kind of be talking about when it's like we're too smart for our own good. Right. Because here you had the perfect plan. Husband, wife, the roles are already delegated. We don't have to have a meeting to figure out what God already sorted out for us. He made the man stronger so he could go out and do the work. He made the woman more suited for domestic work so she could stay home and do that. And here's the thing, both parts are equally as important, because when the 2 husbands were sitting down, one of the husbands was like, well, I could go out there with you and we could get the work done faster. And he was like, okay, but then when we come back, what are we going to eat? Who's going to take care of the animals? Like, who's going to go to the store? Who's going to take care of the house while we're gone? You see, so both roles are equally as important. But because now we've decided that we're not going to go according to the to the plan of the creator who created us, we're just going to throw that whole thing out and figure this out on our own. Now you had to sit here and waste 30 minutes to an hour in a conversation. It just baffles me how this keeps coming up and these answers are clear and obvious in our face. But Pride of Life, I don't know. But if you want to watch that show, y'all can check it out. It comes on HBO Max. I think they release a new episode every Wednesday. It's like 4 episodes and it's really good. I really enjoy it. And today they focused on the Black family. And so, of course, they were talking to them about what life would have been like for Black people in that time. And they actually had the husband's family tree, and they were able to show him how from one generation, his grandfather, I think it was born into, not his grandfather, like great-grandfather, something like that, was born into slavery. But in that same lifetime, he was able to own land. And according to their records, in the 1880s, at the time when they took that census, they had recorded 12 million Black families owning land. And that will open up a whole nother jar of worms. So if y'all want to check that show out, go ahead and check it out. It comes on HBO Max. If you're not on the YouTube, please head over to the YouTube at Monologue Magad, MONOLOG Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live. All right, y'all. I'm gonna start the main topic a little early because it may take some time and I don't want to have to rush through it. Okay. It is a sensitive subject. So if y'all could hear me out, let me finish. I don't mind questions. Like, yeah, you can chime in on the chat, but before you be like, just let me get it all out. Okay. And so this comes from a few things, right? One of the places that it comes from for me is seeing the amount of Black women who have left the church and turned to witchcraft. Black women are like the leading new converts into witchcraft, Wiccan, African spirituality, just anything but the Bible. Okay, anything but the God of the Bible. We're getting into it right now. Okay. And here lately I have been running across, specifically I ran across a post. And the question was, my pastor said I have to choose between being a Christian and practicing astrology. So, of course, the conversation ensues, and the main argument is, well, they practice astrology in the Bible. They practice astrology in the Bible. And I'm like, are y'all crazy? Like, as somebody who grew up in church, like, I understand, I grew up there. But my mother never played with zodiacs, horoscopes, and none of that. Like, you couldn't even talk about that in her house. Like, to this day, she don't play like that at all. Okay. So I come from that kind of background. Astrology has never been allowed in my house or any church I went to or anything like that. Right. So I want to talk about what astrology is versus astronomy. Okay. We're going to separate those and we're going to figure out what exactly it is and why we don't practice it in church. Okay. So y'all bear with me. It is my first time doing a slideshow for you guys. Okay. So astronomy versus astrology. What is astronomy? Astronomy is the scientific study of celestial or heavenly objects, space, and the physical universe as a whole. Okay. So this includes the study of the stars and the moons. Of course, there are other heavenly bodies that some consider to be there, but for these purposes, we're going to focus on the stars and the moon. Okay. What is astrology? Astrology is a belief system, and we're going to define a belief system. Astrology is a belief system that suggests the positions and movements of celestial bodies like stars, planets, the sun and the moon, can influence or reflect events on Earth, especially human personality, relationships, and life outcomes. Okay, here's where we start getting into the dangerous territory, okay? Because now you are trying to influence human personalities, relationships, and life outcomes. Astrology is not a science. It is not a science because it is based on symbolic meanings and traditions, not measurable evidence or scientific methods like astrology, okay? Astronomy uses other sciences in its study, math, physics, chemistry, things like that, okay? What is a belief system? A belief system is a set of ideas, values, or principles that people accept as true and use to make sense of the world. Therefore, you cannot live by the Bible and practice astrology, as these are two different belief systems. Okay? If your belief system is the Bible, then the ideas, values, and principles of the Bible are what you accept as true and what you use to make sense of the world around you. Okay? If you choose to practice astrology, then those ideas, values, or principles are what you accept as true and use to make sense of the world around you. And we're going to get into the tools of astrology in just a second, okay? Okay, yeah. My mama still don't play. Like, you're not bringing that. Look, my mom was so bad we couldn't play cards on Sunday in her house, okay? She do not play. All right, so was astrology practiced in the Bible? This is the big argument now. This is what everyone wants to say when they want to call us hypocrites and say the church is, hypocritical and we contradict the Bible and everything else. Was astrology practiced in the Bible? No, it was not. The biblical practice of using the stars to mark time and seasons is referred to as astronomy. We've already defined astronomy as a science, okay? It is also referred to as sacred timekeeping or biblical astronomy, all right? The verse that we use to solidify this, Genesis 1:14. God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day and the night. Let them be for signs, for seasons, for days, and for years." Okay? So when you look at this, we have to understand there were no calendars back then. There was no such thing as a date. There were no compasses. There were no meteorologists. There was nobody to give you the weather and tell you when a storm was coming. There was none of that. Okay. So in order for the creation to be able to tell the times of the year, the times and the seasons, this is what the Most High gave us: the stars and the moon in the sky. Okay. All right. Okay, what does the Bible say about astrology? The Bible expressly forbids astrology in Deuteronomy 18:10 and 12. There shall not be found among you anyone that maketh his son or daughter to pass through the fire, or that uses divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch. And I put uses divination in red because this is the command that will cover astrology, okay? So, what makes astrology divination? Because I look, I get it, okay? The word is not there. And I have been at the point where I wanted something to be allowed so bad that I would be like, well, it doesn't specifically say that. So, what makes astrology divination? Divination is the practice of seeking knowledge, insight, or guidance about the future or the unknown by supernatural means, often through interpreting signs, omens, or using ritual tools. Astrology qualifies as divination because it uses the position of stars, planets, and celestial events to explain or predict life events, personality traits, or decisions. If you're saying you're a Bible believer, you want to wave your Christian flag, then how can you explain not using the Bible to make your decisions. This is why you have to choose. Okay? When it comes time for you to an opportunity comes and you have a moment where you can either lie or you can either tell the truth. Well, if we're living according to the law, we're not going to tell a lie. But if my horoscope said I might have to tell a little white lie to have a better day, then what am I going to do? If my horoscope told me, oh, an opportunity will come knocking, and in my head, this is an opportunity and it's knocking, what am I going to use to make that decision? Am I going to go by the commands of the Most High, or am I going to lean on what my horoscope said? Okay. This is where we have the conflict. This is why you cannot do both. Okay. So the tools of astrology. And I just want to bring these things out so you will know them when you see them. Okay. Because sidebar, all right. When I was a teenager, when I was younger, we just had our horoscope, right? I don't know if y'all remember. I'm about to age myself. I don't know if y'all remember when you would get the paper and the horoscope would be in the paper every day, or like clicking on AOL and your horoscope would be right there in the, on the first page or whatever. That was all we had to go by, right? But then they started talking about, oh, it's not just the day you were born, it's the year you were born, because every year, every day on every year, the alignment isn't the same. So you might have been a Scorpio in 1980, but in 1985, you would have been, you know what I'm saying? Like, every so often they add something new to the pot. Now there's like a new planet. Now there's like more constellations. It's always something new, right? And this is what you have to watch out for. These belief systems and these practices where, oh, there's always something new. God is the same today, yesterday, and forevermore. His law is not going to change. We're not to add to it. We're not to take anything away from it. Okay. But this is a marker of new age mumbo jumbo. It keeps evolving and keeps changing depending on who's involved. Okay. All right. So tools of astrology, birth charts or natal charts, a map of where the planets were at the time of your birth. See, time, even more specific. The Zodiac, divided into 12 signs with each linked to specific traits. Now, I do want to say this for you astronomers out there, you explorers. The Zodiac chart is different from constellations. Okay, these are astronomers understand constellations. You have the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper. Okay, these are constellations. We know they're there. They've been there all this time. That is different from the Zodiac. Okay. And then you have horoscopes, which are based on your zodiac sign, use astrological interpretations to make predictions or offer guidance. Okay. Again, offering guidance. A lot of times when people turn away from the Bible, it's because they don't want to hold up their end of the bargain, but they still want the things that God has to offer. Like, yes, I still want the love, the peace, the prosperity, and the joy. I still want to be wise. I still want to make the best decisions. Yeah, I just don't want to have to do what I'm told to do. I don't want to have to respect the authority of the creator of the heavens and the earth. So I'm going to try to find a way to go around that. And that's basically all this is. Okay, other tools of divination. Tarot cards. There's nothing wrong with playing spades at a family barbecue. You know what I'm saying? You want to play Uno with the kids? Okay. When you start talking about tarot cards, these are a very specific deck of cards with illustrations on them. Okay, they are meant to offer spiritual insight or self-reflection. Again, you're turning to an inanimate object for answers about your life. Okay. A pendulums, a small crystal, metal, or wood hanging from a chain or a string. It's held still, then allowed to move. Its movement is interpreted as an answer to a question. You can only ask yes or no questions. Isn't that crazy? I can only ask yes or no questions. How are you wiser than me? You can't handle anything after a yes or no question. Okay, Ouija board, spirit board, or talking boards. I'm sure you've seen them in movies before. But these are flat boards marked with the alphabet, numbers 0 through 9, yes, no, and goodbye. A small heart-shaped tool moves around the board to spell out messages. People think the board allows communication with the dead, angels, or spirit guides, demons, or other unknown forces. Okay. And I shouldn't have to tell y'all anything other than that. When I was reading up on it, they were talking about how people purposely go to the goodbye so that they don't leave the spirit realm open and nothing unknown comes through. I don't understand why y'all are playing with why are you playing like that? Why are you playing with the spirit realm like this? I don't understand it. I really don't. And listen, I had my days of reading my horoscope, and sure, I might have talked to a psychic or two, but a Ouija board, there were just certain lines, you know what I mean, that I didn't cross. And I come from a generation of people where there were just certain lines we just didn't cross, and that line has been erased now. What about casting lots? Okay, we see a few stories in the Bible where people are casting lots. Some people may take that as a form of astrology. However, it's not, because casting lots was a way for people to seek God's will without human intervention. Proverbs 16:33 tells us the lot is cast into the lap, but its very decision is from the Lord. So casting lots was seen as a way to surrender the decision to the Lord. And astrology is used to seek guidance apart from God. Like I was saying earlier, it's used to make life decisions. So you are trying to go around God again and making your life decisions and choices. Casting lots, they would take like a stick or like a coin, a mark coin, like you know how we play heads or tails now? That's similar to casting lots. Because you're just throwing it up in the air and whatever happens, happens, right? So that's what casting lots is. It is not astrology. The 3 wise men and the star in the east, because someone bought this up and tried to say that this was astrology being practiced in the Bible, okay? I had to do a little digging to find out. So, while the origin of the star is debated, it is not thought to be a regularly occurring star. The star was used as a sign to signal the Messiah's birth. Stars are used repeatedly to symbolize God's judgment, timing, or glory. Numbers 24:17, a star will come out of Jacob. Revelation 6:13, the stars of the sky fell to the earth. Okay, so we see stars in prophecy. The star was not part of any astrological pattern, okay? The angel did not say that Jesus would be born under the sign of Libra, okay? It was not that. It was a one star, and that star was sent to the Magi to guide them to the Messiah. Now, it was noted that the Magi were not Jews, but they were educated astronomer, preacher types in their society. Okay. All right. Boop, boop, boop. Let's see. Okay. Where did astrology come from? Because if we started with astronomy, biblical astronomy, sacred timekeeping. So where does where did this come from? Astrology began in ancient Babylon around 2000 BC. The Babylonians were the first to track stars and planets and connect them to events on Earth. Okay, so they weren't looking at them for times and seasons. They were looking at them, connecting it to things that happen and trying to develop a pattern to allow them to predict the future, right? Like, okay, if on this day war started and this is what the stars look like, every time the stars look like this, that means there's going to be a war. Okay, that's what they were doing. Ancient Egyptians used sky patterns for agricultural and religious festivals, which is the same as the Israelites were directed, not for personal predictions. Okay. So when Alexander the Great of the Greeks conquered Babylon, the Greeks adopted and expanded Babylonian astrology, blending it with Greek philosophy. They created the foundation for modern day Western astrology. Okay. So the zodiacs, the horoscopes, everything that you see currently associated with astrology comes from the Greeks, and well, it comes from the Babylonians, and then the Greeks added to it to give us what we have today. Okay. Okay. Worshiping creation instead of the creator. This is a big problem that we have. Astrology is a method of getting what God has without going through him. Those who practice astrology believe that the day they were born holds their destiny and not their creator. They will consult their birth chart or horoscopes for answers to questions instead of the word of God. Choose ye this day whom ye will serve, because you cannot serve both. Okay. All right. So shalom and shalom, baby. That's my baby. So okay. Here's the reason why we have to talk about these things. Okay. We are in a day and time. I don't know if you guys are watching what is going on. But even more than usual, there has been a lot of talk of delineation and separation from other brown-skinned people who may be of African descent. Okay. And so it's almost like the Bible says, it's not a surprise, but it's almost as if all the nations are trying to come down on us. Okay. You got, you know, you have what's going on here in America right now. You have people coming from other countries coming down on so-called African Americans. And instead of us lashing out, I don't understand how we can literally be watching the Bible come to life before our eyes and still live in the denial that we live in. The Bible talks to us about picking up the behavior of other nations, and yet we constantly do that. I forgot what we were watching. Oh, we were watching The Shy. Like we just started The Shy. Don't come for me. But we just started The Shy, and so in season 1, the guy's cousin, what's his name, Harold or something like that. He's practicing Buddhism or Tai Chi or some Eastern religious practices, right? And we have a lot of Black people doing that today. They will turn to Buddhism. They will turn to different forms of meditation. They will turn away from the Bible. And I listen, I get it that some people just aren't going to accept it and they aren't going to understand, right? So this message is not so much to try to reach the people who just don't want to be reached. I've never been about that. I'm not going to sit here and waste my breath. Like I'm just not. But I understand that there are a lot of you who may genuinely question that. Like you may genuinely have a question when you come into the knowledge of how you should be living according to the Bible. It can be hard to let go of some of those old things. And I can imagine, especially if you've like used this thing to make your decisions, I can imagine that it would be hard to let it go. It's become a crutch to you. It's how you've predicted your day, how you've made your decisions. So I can understand that being a crutch. I can also understand it being attractive, right? Because again, you're getting advice, you're getting guidance. You think that you're having this supernatural experience. You think this person reading the lines in your hand is gonna tell you something. You feel like you can get the answers to your life without having to submit to God, without having to go through trials and tribulations. without having to be tested, without having to grow, without having to surrender those things that you love. Because one thing I notice about these different practices, where's the text? Where's your text of laws? How are you balancing things morally? How do you know what you do, what you can do and what you can't do? And see, here's the problem. Power without restraint. That's what it's all about. It's all about people being able to, wanting to be able to control their life, wanting to be able to create things without the help of their creator. They want to be able to be the creators of their own existence. And it just does not work like that. The laws of God reign on the just as well as the unjust. Like, you're not exempt from the principles that apply to all of heaven and earth. And therefore, when you go fooling with these things that you are not supposed to be fooling with, you are going to encounter things that you had no previous knowledge of. And then you're going to want to come back to the church and beg everybody to fast and pray and turn down their plate. I understand it gets hard out here, right? And the messages that we receive as Black women from the media are hardly ever positive. Okay. It's hard sometimes to find a positive Black woman role model, especially if you're wanting to be married, if you're wanting to live righteously, or even if you want to be a righteous single woman. It can be hard to find good examples for that because Shanika, shalom and shalom, sis. Thank you for joining me. It can be hard to Zahar, shalom and shalom. Thank you for joining me. I hope I said your name right. It can be hard to find that example of a single righteous woman because every time you turn the TV, they sleeping with somebody pregnant, somebody's going to get an abortion. I mean, they throw that out there like it's nothing now. They take abortions like walks in the park. Shout out your abortion. I mean, it's become a whole thing. There's no shame here. There's no consideration for people's ear and eye gates, nothing at all. Me and my husband were talking about it the other day. And I was just like, I don't need to see people having sex on TV. I get it. I know how it works. I remember when I was younger watching shows like Dynasty and Dallas and those soap operas and stuff. They would kiss and close the door, or they would kiss and then, fall under the camera. These days, they showing body parts. And I mean, you can dang near, I don't need all of that. Okay. And so I understand it can be a struggle. Okay. And it gets hard. You're fighting the lust of your flesh, the lust of your eye, the pride of life. Yes, it can get hard. And yes, it's tempting to take what you think is a shortcut, right? But have y'all ever been driving, and this is probably before GPS time, but have you ever, you've ever been driving and you thought you knew a shortcut, or even if you weren't really trying to take a shortcut, but you got lost and you got off your path? Before GPS, because GPS will just reroute you, right? You can make a wrong turn, your GPS will say, okay, rerouting and take you back around. Okay, but before then, if you got lost, whether on purpose or not, you had to get back to the place where you were and start from there all over again. So whether you were lost for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, you've just added that much more time to your trip. Okay? And see, here's where the pride of life comes in, right? Because I'm saying 15, 30 minutes, an hour, talking about driving a car. But when you think about the days of your life and the fact that not even the next second is guaranteed. Not even the next second. When you think about that and you think about days and weeks and months and years now that you're talking about losing, you're talking about time. You can't get that back. Please hear me. Regret is a heavy, heavy, heavy monster to have on your back. It will plague you. It will oppress you. And there's nothing you can do but surrender it to the Most High. Not even your zodiac sign is going to help you to go back and change the mistakes that you made in the past. There's nothing you can do, okay? But I'm not thinking this ain't Back to the Future. There's no time machine. Okay? So every second is precious, especially in your decision making. The day, and see, here's the thing, right? I understand not just accepting what somebody says, because you shouldn't. You shouldn't. Somebody comes up to you and hands you a drink. I'm not drinking this. I don't know you. What's in here? What did you put in here? Where did this come from? I'm not taking it, right? It's a reason why when you buy something from the store, you're supposed to check for the seal. Because, okay, you know this is sealed. This is all that's in here. See, I lost my train of thought. Hold on. Let me get back on track. Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live here at the House of Mono. I'm sorry, y'all. Sometimes my thoughts be leaving me. Shalom, sis. Brianna, shalom, sis. Thank you for joining me. Shalom, sis. I've been down that rabbit hole with astrology. Even when you try to get rid of mentally, it's dark knowledge that will stay with you for the rest of your life, constantly fighting it off. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Thank you for sharing that with us. And like I said, I've dabbled in my little horoscope or whatever, but I mean, all praise is like, I don't, that's not something I even think about anymore, really. But this is one of those things that, when you turn the switch on, sometimes you can't just turn it off like that. Like I said, it becomes a crutch to you. Okay, so I remember what I was saying now about your decision making, right? Okay. The reason why, I know where I was going. Okay. I understand not just accepting when someone tells you a thing, right? So, like in the Bible, where it tells us that we shouldn't eat pork and shellfish and unclean food, right? I could totally understand you being like, well, why shouldn't I? Like, why? Can you explain why? I get it, right? And there's a good reason why you shouldn't. These things are meant to be dumpsters. It would be like going outside and tipping over the trash can before the trash people come on Monday to pick it up and eating out of there. That's what it's like when you eat lobster and shrimp and crab, okay? And you know how I know, sidebar, you know how I know, because I used to eat crab. And what do you see when you open up a crab? Poop. It's all right there, and you got to clean the poop out from around the crab meat. Now that I think about it, it's totally freaking disgusting. But I digress. Okay. And so, you want to know, okay, well, why should I be doing this thing? Like, what is it? Okay, that makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. I don't understand, though, why sometimes it's hard to just accept that the Most High is the creator and he knows his creation, okay? When it comes to decision making, it is best to leave that up to the Most High, because you don't know all the pieces that are in play. You can only see what's in front of you, right? You may be thinking, I'm ready to quit this job. I'm ready to quit this job. I'm ready to quit this job. And the Most High might be telling you, just wait a minute, just wait a minute, just wait a minute. And then one day you like, you know what? I can't take this no more. I'm done. And so now you out here looking for a job, can't find nothing for 3 or 4 months. Well, that's because you were supposed to hold on another 3 or 4 months. And then this would have been there open for you. Okay? That's why. Because we cannot see everything. You can only be present in your own movie. You don't know what's going on next door. And so while you may think that I'm just going to make this decision and fly out, if the Most High did not tell you to take that step, you are only adding to your own burden and transgressions by taking a step before it's time. And I don't even have to get into how picking the wrong person can ruin your life. Again, you're making a decision. And you know good. Listen, I've heard too many stories and I've lived too long. You're not going to tell me that there were not red flags or that there were not or are not red flags that you chose to ignore. But instead of you not just heeding the physical warning that was in your face, the verbal warning, because if you had anybody around you that loved you, I know they told you, leave him alone. I don't know. I don't like him. Then you ignored the warning from the Most High. Warning comes before destruction, okay? Your heart, you don't just wake up one day and your heart be broke. That's not how any of this works. If you go back and think about it, you remember the exact moment when you made that decision to cross that line that led you into the mess that you are in today. It didn't just happen to you. You were not in the will. You were not in the will of the Most High. You decided to take things into your own hands. And now you got to go back to where you started. Humble yourself and apologize. And do the lessons all over again. You pray, God, give me patience. God, give me patience. God, give me patience. He puts you in a situation to get patience and you can't be patient anymore. You just can't wait. I have never been left hanging. Never. The Most High never left me out to dry. That's not the kind of God that we serve. And I don't like when people add all these like petty, sadistic qualities to God. For a long time, I was scared to pray because it seemed like if I prayed for something, then some kind of trouble had to come in order for me to get that thing, right? And that's just simply not the truth. But that kind of teaching and thinking is what can turn people away from Christ and towards who's like witchcraft. Because if every time I ask you for something, I have to go through something, I'll just get it myself. This is why we have to be careful of how we are out here representing Christ. And look, it's not our responsibility to coddle people. It's not. I get it, right? But it is our responsibility to win souls. That requires you being kind. That requires you being warm and welcoming. I'm not saying that I have always been perfect at that. I have my share of social anxiety. Okay. I'm the person at the party that's waiting for my husband to get ready to go home. Okay. That is me. Okay. I'm comfortable in my house. Thank you, with my Roku remote and whatever I just ordered from Uber Eats. I'm cool, buddy. All right. But when it's time to win souls, my flesh has to take a back seat. I am here to advance the kingdom of God. So whatever I'm feeling is I'm going to put it in my little box and I'm going to put it on a shelf in my brain. And when I get home or when I have time, then we will take this box and we will uncover it. And if it's something I need to talk to someone about, then I will talk to someone, whether it be my husband, my mother, or the Most High. But what I'm not going to do is allow my flesh and my feelings to cause me to cost someone else their salvation. Stop assuming that just because a person claims to have been in the church or been in the truth longer than you, that therefore they're made of some type of spiritual Teflon and whatever I do to them does not matter because they're a seasoned saint. You don't know what anybody is battling at any moment. This is why you are account when the Bible tells you you're accountable for every idle word. This is why if you're going to advise, your advice needs to be on point. And if you don't know, then it's okay to just say, I don't know right now. This is why you can't be practicing astrology one day and want to be on your Bible the next day. Because Susie came to you with a problem the day you was on your astrology, and you done led her down. You done led her down a path of psychic readings, tarot cards, and now the witch up the block is getting all her money for candles. When if you would have been in your right mind, you would have prayed for her. You would have gave her some scripture. You would have given her some other positive outlets for that. You're the one that walks around and says that you're in the truth. You're the one that claimed this title. Nobody put it on you. Nobody's walking up to you, beating you anymore, demanding that you behave a certain way. You made that choice. You went out here and told it to the people. But when it's time to walk in that, you don't want to do it. You're not letting the people down. You're letting the Most High down. Just like you're so quick to tell people, well, you're not rejecting me. You're rejecting God. When they don't want to hear what you have to say about the Bible, vice versa. When you mistreat his people, you're not mistreating them. When I was in jail, what was that? When I was hungry, you fed me. When I was in jail, you visited me. That is why this wishy-washy back and forth that a lot of us are in right now is so very dangerous. It's so very dangerous. It's hard to turn off a light. It's hard to turn off a light. And when you're gifted or anointed in a certain thing, those things come without repentance, right? So you could have been deep down in a freaking seance the night before, but the light is still on you. And it is easy for people who are stumbling around in darkness to not see clearly. Their discernment may not be on point. And so they can't see like, oh yeah, something about you, but everybody's not, you know what I'm saying? Everybody can't pick up on that. Yes, you are your sister's keeper. Yes, you are. If we don't build each other up, how do we expect to build up our men and therefore build up our community? And hear what I'm saying. Build each other up biblically. I'm not talking about this bring matriarchy back to the Bible. I'm not talking about none of that. We're trying to build a community. And guess what? Our community has to rival with the other communities of the world. There is no successful matriarchal community existing right now. So what kind of dummies do we look like thinking, oh, we're going to raise up a bunch of strong, independent Black women and do what? And do what? Continue to make a fool of ourselves, continue to talk bad about our men and our children, continue to go out here and have babies with men of other nations. You're only helping with the eugenics process. Because guess what, woman? When you sleep with that man, as much as you want to talk about, that's my Black baby, that is not a Black baby anymore. It's not. We have to, there's no shortcuts. There's no shortcuts in life. There's no shortcuts in spirituality. There's no shortcuts in life. Stop falling for these what seem like overnight success and instant success stories. Because what you think is an overnight success has actually been 5-10 years in the making. What you think happened instantly actually took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. The person is just gifted or anointed in what they're doing, and so they make it look easy. But it's just like me trying to walk in my husband's shoes. I wear a 7.5 in women. He wears like a 10 in men, or 9, 10, 11, something like that. I can't put my feet in his shoes. I'll be tripping all over myself. I would not get anywhere. So no, you can't do what everybody else is doing, but you can do what you're supposed to do. You can do what you're called to do. And see, here's the thing about astrology, right? It does not clue you in. What do I mean by that? Sometimes when I go to pray, the Most High brings up things that I was not thinking about. Things, people, no lie. Like I get reminded of stuff that I had forgot. Like just so much help from the Holy Spirit when I pray, right? You take that away when you lean on your own understanding, when you look to man and his devices. You take away the opportunity for the Most High to communicate with you and to help you in that area, right? You might have left some money somewhere and you don't forgot it was there. But because you refuse to pray, well, how am I remind you if you won't talk to me? Nobody loves me. Nobody cares. How am I remind you if you won't talk to me? I feel like I don't have a future. I hate my job. How remind you of the plans that I have for you if you won't talk to me? How can I reassure you if you won't talk to me? I'm sorry. Boo, it's so many sizes I have to remember. I'm sorry. But how can you get the thing that you need from God if you will not talk to him? It's not going to come from anywhere else. You've read the story of Adam and Eve. You read what happened when Eve tried to go off on her own. We read this story. The Bible is full of people who made mistakes. The Bible is full of people who went off to make their own decisions. Sarah sent Hagar in there to Abraham because of her lack of faith. And you know how they say ignorance of the law is no excuse, right? Like if I let's see, well, Georgia's an open carry state, but what's a not open carry state? I don't know. I live in the South. Every state is open carry. Okay. Okay. Oh, we went to New Jersey, right? We went to Jersey. And before we went, we had to look up the gun laws there because, like I said, Georgia, and I'm a permitted carrier. So I have my Thule on me all the time. It's in my purse. It's on me, right? In Jersey, the laws are different. You can only have it in your car and in your place of residence. Yeah. My daughter drove down to Miami. Did she go to Miami or Orlando? Somewhere in Florida. And so we definitely checked the gun laws there because I want no smoke in Florida. Okay. So we checked the gun laws there and she could have it in her car, but it had to be locked in her trunk. Okay. So my thing is though, we checked the laws of these states before we went, because if I would have went there and they would have found the gun in my purse, me saying, oh, I'm not from here, I didn't know, would not have saved me from those consequences. It's your job to know. It's public information. Right? So ignorance of the law is no excuse for transgressing it. Now, in that same principle, she went to Miami. Thank you. I know she was somewhere down there. How Angelina know where my kids at and I don't. She went somewhere down there. In the same vein as ignorance of the laws of no excuse, failing to properly vet the information that you receive about the Most High is of no excuse. You have no excuse. Yes, people are going to lie. The Bible warns us about wolves in sheep's clothing, lying prophets. Like we know that they are out there, right? But some of y'all are so, I don't want to use the L word because I heard that's a slur. So some of you are so confused, double-minded, lukewarm, that the smallest inconsistency is enough for you to walk around screaming, oh, the Bible isn't true. God doesn't exist. Jesus was never born. It's all lies, lies, lies. All you need is one thing, one small thing for you to start going off. That's no excuse. Especially not in the day of the internet, Google, Chat GPT. You have no excuse. All of this information is at your hand. I mean, and again, I get it. It ain't for everybody. Okay. I get it. But those of you who it's for, you know it's for you. You know you've been seeking the answers. You've just been looking for a shortcut to get there. And so astrology seems cool because you get a different horoscope every day, and it tells you the kind of people that you'll be compatible with. And so horoscopes are just something that keeps you coming back with no remedy, no solution, just everyday satisfaction, nothing you can rely on long term, just like medication. Ooh, that's a good one. Just like medication. Because, like I said, where's your text? Where's the solid, fixed text? Where are the pillars of your belief system? What do you stand on? We stand on the law and we stand on faith in Christ. These are the pillars of our faith. The law and the faith. What are the pillars? What are the tenements of your belief system? If your belief system is in a bunch of constantly fluctuating, changing stuff, and here's what's even crazier. It's nothing that you yourself can touch and interact with, because like your psychic has to have some kind of special power, right? Like your astrologer has to be tapped into some kind of supernatural power, right? I mean, because if anybody could do it, then you could do it yourself. You wouldn't need Miss Cleo or whoever. I know that is so old. Oh my God. But you wouldn't, you know what I mean? Like if you could do it yourself, you wouldn't need anybody else. And I believe that's part of the scam. It's a scam. Because if you don't believe that you can get the answers to your life without going through me, then my needs, my wants, and my needs supersede the wants and the needs of you and your family, because you need me to get the answers from the spirit realm. Because you don't believe in God. You're spiritual, right? You're spiritual. You need me to get the answers from the spirit realm. I'm the only one that can look in your hand. I'm the only one that can look in the crystal ball. I'm the only one that can talk to whoever the goddess of the hour is. Beyonce got y'all all worshiping this goddess named Oshun. Talking about going back to my African spirituality. Girl, you are from Nebraska. You've never been to Africa. What are you going back to? Your ancestors was Hebrews. What are you going back to? The Native Americans were Hebrews. What are you going back to? Y'all are full on practicing idolatry, necromancy, false god worship. I mean, the list goes on. And of course, every religion has to have a lifted up figure, right? So Beyonce is the goddess of her religion, and I don't care if y'all want to come for me. Anytime that you got people out here paying thousands of dollars to come and see you repeatedly, because some of them people travel from city to city to see her repeatedly on tour. You got to be kidding me. That is your God. That is your God. So you're anything else. Anything but the Bible, because it requires responsibility from me. And this is not about people who were born into other nations, right? Like, I'm never going to talk to an Asian person about practicing Buddhism. That's their nation. That's what they were given to practice. I'm not going to, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not my place. I learned it in practice a long time ago, and then it was confirmed in the Bible for me later. But I'm never going to talk to an Indian person about practicing Hindu. Like, that's not what this is. This is about you Negroes who are appropriating these people's religious practices and trying to make it your own because you feel like the God of the Bible isn't good enough for you. And that's really crazy to me, that you have a problem believing in the God of the Bible. You have a problem believing in Christ. You have a problem believing that all these men were inspired by God to collect these texts and put them in a collection. You have a problem with all this, but the minute I come to you and tell you that hum is the universal sound and all you have to do is sit there and just hum and all of your questions will be answered, you'll accept that even though it makes no freaking sense. Why are you so comfortable making a God of yourself? Because if the answers are inside of me and all I have to do is sit there and I'm making a God of myself. I don't need to ask anybody else anything. Everything I need is in here. The answers to my questions, the decisions, my future, my past, everything I need is in here. And so my question is, if everything you need is in there, why are you so jacked up? If everything you need is in there, then why aren't you living the life of your dreams right now? Are you holding yourself back? You're purposely holding yourself back. That is crazy. And so I dare you to go ask the God that you serve, what's up with my dream life? Go ask him. Because if you ask the God of the Bible, there are clear instructions. Mind your business, live a quiet life, work, enjoy your pleasure. If you're single, you be about the Lord's business. If you're married, you tend to your husband and your family. It's really that simple. It is simple. Here's no religion, no practice, nothing you turn to can promise you a problem-free life. Everything but go to the Most High. They'll dang near consult. Listen, when the Antichrist appears, I don't even want to be around. I don't even want to be around because I'm convinced that some people could confront what our image. Okay, I understand that the red pitchfork, red outfit devil isn't real. I get that. Okay, but let's use that imagery for a second. Some people could see the devil standing right in front of them and would ask him, like, "Well, hey, you know most of this stuff anyway, so." I'm convinced. And you know how I know? Because there's a lady that lives in a house outside of our subdivision and down the street here. And that has been a psychic tarot card reading house for years. Like, we've been on this side of town for almost 10 years now. Yeah, Paxton is about to be 10. So it's been like 9-10 years now. California Psychics is I still see commercials for that. It's still alive and well. So It doesn't make any sense. I'm with you. Something is off with this obsession of Beyonce. Definitely idolatry and witchcraft going on. Definitely. And then what's so crazy to me is like people will say, like, yeah, I didn't feel right leaving that concert. She did rituals at her concert, this, that. And but they still go. Y'all, it's like, y'all feel some kind of way if someone goes around you. Okay. Like, say I wanted to borrow a pair of your shoes, right? I wanted to borrow a pair of your shoes, and you love these shoes. You would never let any and BT Dubs. I would never ask to borrow anybody's shoes. Maybe that was a horrible example, but I am not a wearer of other people's shoes. You ain't never got to worry about that. Okay, but for this example, let's just say I wanted to borrow your shoes, your favorite shoes. You love these shoes, and you had told me no. No, girl, you can't borrow these. You can borrow these other shoes, but these shoes I love, don't touch them, right? But say your mama was at your house and I came when your mom was there, and I was like, "Oh, you think so and so mind if I borrow her shoes?" And your mama was like, "Yeah, girl, go ahead. It don't matter." You would be mad because I went around you, right? Like I usurped your authority. I took it upon myself to be sneaky and to still get what I want. You would be mad. You won't want to be my friend no more. So why shouldn't God feel the same way when you do the same thing to him? He told you, no, that one's not yours. Just wait. I got something better coming for you. But what did you do? You went and slept with him anyway. And now look. Don't get that car right now. Wait. I got something for you. And now look, you sitting up here car poor. All you can do is afford to pay your car note. You can't afford the tires. You can barely afford the gas. When the last time the oil been changed? You can't go around God and then still try to get the things that he promised you. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. All you're doing is going. Y'all ever play that game Chutes and Ladders where you climb up the ladder and you get further in the game and then you go down the chute and it sets you back? That's all you're doing is sending yourself backwards. And what's crazy is the things that come with that are the very things that you're trying to escape from. And the people around you can see that you don't belong there. They know you don't belong. That's why you can't get along with anybody. That's why you don't fit in with anybody. That's why you don't like any of their ideas. That's why when they're like, oh, let's go do this or let's go do that, and you'd rather do something else, you're wondering like, well, what's wrong with me? Why am I weird? Why do they make me feel like a nerd? Because you don't belong there. And instead of you putting on your blinders like a horse and staying focused and doing what you got to do, you keep getting distracted by every little blow of the wind. Ooh, here's the answer. Let me try this. Ooh, let me try to be a Reiki healer and heal myself. Let me do this. It's going to be unsuccessful, ma'am, cousin. And the danger that I need us to realize is that unsuccessfulness comes in varying degrees. Some of you may escape with no scars. Others of you will never be the same. A lot of what Black women will label as mental illness is really the I don't want to call it an obsession, but it's the repeating of regrets. It's the repeating of regrets. Every day you wake up and you're sad, and then you sit there and think, well, if I would have did this, and if I would have did that, and if I wouldn't have, and it's his fault, and it's her fault, and it's my mama's fault because she didn't love me enough, and it's my baby daddy fault because the first step to making any kind of change is to recognize that you have a problem and take accountability for it. That means, yes, I recognize that I have a problem and here's my responsibility in it. If you're not willing to say, here's my responsibility in it, then you're never going to get anywhere because you are not reclaiming the power over your own life and your own decisions. If it's always your mama's fault, then you're sitting there waiting for your mother to tell you, okay, come on, let's go. And that's not her job. You grown. Our parents had their own crap that they were dealing with when they raised us. I've been blessed enough to have what people would say are two sets of children, right? I have my 20-year-olds and then I have my 7 and my 9-year-old. I don't parent my 7 and my 9-year-old the same way I parented my 20-year-olds. I know better. Things are different. I've been through things. I still remember the things that I wish I had did with them. And so now I get to do it with my sons. And that is a blessing that I understand a lot of people don't get to have that, but that is a blessing that I cannot put into words. But everything ain't like that. My cousin was talking about going back to school. I think she wants to go to nursing school. My cousin was talking about going back to nursing school. She has a child, but she just turned 31. And I told her, do it now, right? Because here's the thing is, they want to tell women, oh, you can have it all and you can have it all the time. And that's not true. Yes, you can have it all, but you can't have everything at the same time, okay? Go to school now. This is why I'm telling my cousin, go to school now, right? Because there's going to come a time when you're going to have to choose between starting your family and going to school or having a career. And listen, your child is going to suffer. Your child is going to suffer. They tried to make it sound cute. Well, oh, look at all the single Black moms going to college. But how much time was that child getting while you were spending the intense amount of time and energy that it takes to complete your degree? This is why you have times and seasons in life. You go to college as soon as you graduate from high school. This way you're not plagued down with anything else. I had a career as a nationally certified surgical tech. I had a career. I wanted to become an RN and see where that would take me. So I started taking the steps to go in that direction. Ran into my husband again. Here's an opportunity to get married. Okay, let's get married. I want to have more kids, but I'm 33. Yeah, I'm 33 at this time. And the whole thing was, don't have any babies after 35, especially as a Black woman. And I also knew that when I had more kids, I didn't want to have a baby and 6 weeks later be dropping them off at daycare. No, I want to have a baby and I want to actually be home to raise my babies. And so now I'm at this point where I have to make a choice. Am I going to not? And I can't have babies later, right? I know they try to make it saying, oh yeah, you can have kids well into your 40s. That is a lie. Having babies in your 20s and having babies in your 30s is drastically different. I couldn't imagine trying to have a baby now, okay? But I'm saying that to say I did not have the choice to put off having kids until later. So I had to make the decision right then and there, right? But if I would have did what my mama said and just went ahead and did my nursing degree right out of high school, I wouldn't have had to make that decision. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what I'm telling y'all. Make the right decisions at the right season of your life so that you can get the most out of that time. Paxton and Atticus, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, don't say nothing crazy.
I'm not going to say anything crazy. I promise.
What?
No, I'm not going to. All right.
Paxton said don't say it.
Addie, don't say it, bro. Mom, man.
Okay, no, just tell me later, okay?
All right. I'm going to tell the podcast later.
Huh?
I'm going to tell the podcast later.
No, you're not going to tell them. You're going to tell me. Whisper it in my ear. What is it?
No, he's a horrible whisperer, Mom. It's not gonna work.
Oh, okay. All right. Y'all see Paxton over here, you guys? He's about to be 10 years old. Oh my gosh. Auntie Angelina says shalom,
And I'm
nephews.
still looking for friends.
Atticus, just say hey to the people.
Hello, everybody.
Oh my goodness. You have friends, sir. What?
What's an Afrin mean?
What is a what?
What does an Afrin mean?
Affer.
You said Afrin.
A friend?
Oh, I thought you said friend.
Can you stop
I thought
pushing
you
me?
said Afrin.
All right. Y'all got anything to say to the folks?
Where's probably
Dad-
not.
Probably not.
Just
Where's
check
Daddy?
on the bed with his socks on. Chilling.
Okay.
No, having his socks on the bed is super uncomfortable.
I agree. I don't sleep with socks on. I can't stand that. Thank y'all so much for joining me. I hope something that I said was helpful to you, whether you're listening live or on the replay. If you have any questions about my slideshow, if you'd like a copy of the slideshow, I'm more than happy to share the information with you. Please let me know. If there are other topics you'd like me to discuss or, get into a little bit, let me know that too. Like I love to learn. Okay. I love to learn. I love to read. I love to get into new things. So you let me know. Also, please do not forget, brother, why are you doing that to my water? Atticus, please stop. I'm gonna stop you from coming down here. Atticus, stop. Lord have mercy. So nobody told me that they was always gonna be drinking my water and eating my food. Please don't forget my book, Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass. 8 questions to consider while waiting is available on Amazon.com for your Kindle. If you already have a Kindle, you can download it directly to your Kindle. If you don't, you can download the Kindle app on your smartphone or your tablet, and then you can download the book. It is only $5. Cinco pesos.
I told them what happened today.
Foof mark. Okay, that I said that $5 in Spanish, German, and English. So it's $5. What?
I told them what happened today.
What?
That's it. Mouse.
Yes, you can tell them.
So today we were getting the mouses. There was one mouse in one mouse trap, and it was a glue trap. So I had to pick up the whole glue trap. But my middle finger was too close to it, and it bit it.
Yes, so he got a little mouse bite.
And Mom was so worried.
We have field mice over here, and they decided they want to try to get into the dog kennel, but no, we're putting it into that. So yes, he did get a little bite. Of course, I was worried. I'm always worried about you, but all praises to the Most High. He's fine. Everything's okay. So all praises to that. Anything else, buddy? You got anything? I'm gonna try to get Mr. Mono on here to come and talk to y'all one of these days here soon.
We are going to get a new account.
Yes, we're going to restart their YouTube. One of their friends decided to call himself playing a prank and reported their YouTube channel. But with kids, they don't play, so they shut their YouTube channel down. So we will be getting another YouTube channel started, and we'll let everybody know about you guys' YouTube channel, okay? All right. I love you so much. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you would like to support our ministry efforts here at the House of Mono, please head over to the Cash App $, the House of Mono. $1 or $2 will do. We thank you in advance. If you have already given, thank you so much. We appreciate your support. Please know that none of it is taken for granted. All right. I will see y'all right back here next Thursday. Same black time, same black station. Like, share, subscribe, comments. Okay. Please interact with the video so YouTube will know that people want to see more of what we have going on here on our channel. Okay. So
Wait,
what?
Everybody, yes, on August 2nd, the Fortnite live event.
What?
Make sure to go watch it, 2 p.m.
Okay, if you wanted to
on
know about the
August 2nd.
Fortnite live event, or if you have a kid, you know, there's a Fortnite live event on August the 2nd, which is
2 p.m.
2 p.m. That's Saturday, isn't it? Yeah, today's the 31st. Yeah, so that's Saturday. Saturday at 2 o'clock. Is it on like a YouTube channel or something?
No, it's just on Fortnite.
Oh, it's on Fortnite?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. All right, I'll see y'all back here 8 o'clock next Thursday. Same black time, same black station. I love you so much. Shalom, shalom, and good night.
Doing gang things.
Mono.
Living super clean. Daddy came
One time for my king doing king things. Mom these hoes cause he know he got a good thing. I
Tune
submit.
in to Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass with your host, Miss Mono.
Shalom and shalom, sisters and cousins, and praise the Lord, saints. It's your favorite housewife, Miss Mono.
Every Thursday from 8 to 10 p.m. live on YouTube at Miss Mono's World and Monologue Magad. Now also available on the Saya TV on Roku and Fire Stick. Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass. Don't miss it, sisters and cousins.
Let him save you in the end like a Semino. Be help me, shout it, let the silly go.
One time for the men doing gang
For my
things.
king.
Dead Fred to the T. Living